Hey fam!
Let's be
3D.
Hey fam! Welcome back to Let's Be 3D, and today it is Twin Talks. It's just me and Naomi with y'all today, and we're gonna talk about.
What are we going to talk about?
We're gonna talk about our girls' trip that we took this past summer.
I think we should do this once a month. And why are you?
They need us so desperately. It's nice to be needed. I just waved a brother like we're recording.
Anyway, what I was saying was I think we should do this like once a month. Like they give us a topic to talk about.
That would be awesome. What do y'all think? We need feedback though. We need to know if y'all are interested in this. But we're gonna be real because it was a fun trip, but we learned a ton of lessons, and we had some life lessons too that we had to learn, right? The hard way. Anyway, Naomi, why don't you start us off with, you did all the planning and prep for this trip.
I did.
She did.
Some of that went well and some of it did not. But anyway, so we had this idea like in March of this year. I think like it was pretty early this year.
Well, yeah, because I guess it kind of hit us that, there's not a ton of things to do comfortably outside. We love being outside, doing something interesting for our birthday. And, it being our birthday's in February. So it's just like it's winter. You really don't want to be outside. At least I don't. I really rarely stay outside long in the wintertime because I don't like being cold. But also like some things are just shut down, and then stuff we would want to do like skydive or hike a mountain. Exactly. We did not skydive this year, but it's on the list.
It's on the list.
Wouldn't be really smart in the wintertime. I don't think they do it in the wintertime. Well, I mean, hiking, I'm sure people do in the wintertime, but
I don't think they do because you're so high up. The air's freezing. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. That sounds dangerous.
Dangerous.
Life-threatening. Anyway, so we were like, well, what if we celebrated our birthday at a different point in the year?
Right. And our first idea was skydiving because you can skydive. I think it was Knoxville. There's different areas. And like in the fall where you see the colors and stuff. Anyway.
That'd be pretty.
The pictures looked really cool. Anyway. So Abby and I were talking about it. And honestly, most of our family would not want to do that with us.
We were surprised. We got a lot of no's.
Yes. Like Joe Bark, daredevil that he is, he said he was all for it.
Yeah.
Dad definitely, we knew, wouldn't. Yeah. But none of our other brothers really wanted to. And even Mom was like, y'all want to do that? And we're like, okay.
I want to fall out of a plane. Come on.
I want to jump out of a plane. Anyway, so I started thinking of like other good ideas, and because I don't know, before 2020 happened, we had the thought of doing a cruise down in Antarctica. Well, that didn't happen. So I was thinking something like, what would be on level with that? Anyway, that includes stuff we love to do and stuff like that. So our friends, the Foremans in Texas, they go up to Montana, Wyoming. I think they did Washington this year for the first time. Anyway.
Yeah.
They go out west hiking and stuff like that. And they have some pretty funny stories to tell and everything. So we knew of those areas, and I'm like, oh, that would be fun. So I did some researching and stuff like that. And I don't know why I didn't know this, but I discovered that Glacier National Park and Yellowstone National Park are actually within a decent drive, a day's drive, 4 or 5 hours, which is short compared to all the traveling that we've done in a day, especially after this trip.
Oh, after this trip for sure.
So I was like, oh, that would be cool, because originally I was thinking just like the state of Montana and like visiting all the cool places up there and stuff like that. But then when I realized Glacier National Park, I was like, it would probably make sense to just do that one big thing.
Yeah.
And for some reason I thought we could do both. Glacier National Park in Yellowstone.
It sounded simple at the time.
We had no idea what we were
No.
getting into. But anyway, so that was a
None.
plan. And we presented it. Mom loved it. She started crying.
Yes, it
Because
was
we
so
told it would be
sweet.
just a girls' trip. The guys loved us at that moment.
They really did. They were like, "Oh, sure, y'all can go." No, they were a little jealous.
It was funny.
But we take a mother-daughter, have a mother-daughter trip. Usually we just go up to Gatlinburg and like lounge around a cabin or something, go shopping, whatever. Which is still a ton of fun. We are simple people. We just like doing simple things sometimes.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot. So we always have a mother-daughter trip every year. So we were like, what if we combined our birthday trip for our 22nd birthday, which we're not 22 yet, we're 21, but our
For the
celebrating
next
our
birthday.
22nd birthday, and also having a mother-daughter trip.
Yeah.
Just sometimes, at least for me, it's nicer to experience things with fewer people. It's just like if it's we have 8 people. So if it's like a big group,
Right.
it's like you might miss something. Someone might not want to do this. Someone else might want to. It just like usually Mom,
it can
Naomi,
get
and I.
complicated.
And it's just mother-daughter time. And it's nice sometimes to get away from 5 alpha males in your view.
Wow.
No. You just need that getaway time.
Yeah. I agree.
And
Anyway, so
it was
we
good.
about 4 months ahead, I started planning, and at first I really was micromanaging everything, trying to find hotels, stuff like that, because this was the first trip Abby and I were going to pay for outside of birthday budget and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
as a
We
gift,
have a
Dad
birthday
said he would
budget.
cover some part of the trip. He didn't tell me, he hadn't decided what yet. It ended up being the gas.
Which was a lot. So
Which
we're
was
thankful we didn't
very
have
nice.
to pay
Anyway,
for that.
and he also gave Mom spending money to do whatever she
Yes.
wanted, and she bought us dinner a couple of times. Anyway, so we weren't covering the whole thing, but we had no idea what we were getting into. Anyway, so I discovered you should book a year in advance if you want to stay at a national park.
Yes.
So I started scrambling around trying to find places as close to the parks as possible with reasonable price,
Yeah.
because everything's super expensive. So and
You
I
picked
was
some good places.
I did, thank you. And so we met with Mom and Dad about the budget, and I kind of presented what I had so far, and Mom's like, I can't do this with Dad. But I would rather just drive until, I'm tired and just pick a place, not really have everything planned out. Well, I took that literally and quit planning. Basically.
Bad idea.
All I had planned was, how long we would stay in the Glacier National Park area, how long we would stay in the Yellowstone National Park area, and then our trip back, because we wanted to stop in Buffalo for the Occidental Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also wanted to see Crazy Horse, Devil's Tower, which we ended up skipping the Devil's Tower, but we did see Crazy Horse and Mount Rushmore, which was super cool because we were able to see the lighting ceremony and everything. Anyway, so I had the trip back planned. Anyway, so we had an extra day because the studio time went so well.
Yes.
So we had an extra day of travel, which was really good because we had no idea what we were getting
You
into.
read like 20-something hours and you're like, okay.
Oh, that's fine.
And then you travel 20-something hours and you're like,
That was not
okay.
Yes. And Mom had just bought her FJ Cruiser, so we decided
Yes.
to take the Cruiser, which ended up being a good thing because the roads are nuts, especially in Glacier National Park. It was pretty
That's
sketchy a couple
scary.
times.
It is scary.
So the excursion would not have been a good idea. But the Cruiser's gas tank is smaller, so we were stopping about every hour and a half.
Yeah.
Every hour and a half. Usually in the Sprinter or the excursion, we stop every 2.5 hours.
Mhm.
Sometimes Dad's pushed it to 4 if we're asleep.
Yeah.
So, he's driven here to Roanoke, Virginia. No
Yeah.
bathroom breaks because everyone's asleep. Anyway, so we learned that the first day. And the first day, we got up at 4.
Ish. Yeah. Somewhere around.
So we could
got up
leave,
at
or we left
4:30.
about 5:30. I think the goal
Yeah.
was to leave at 5, but we left at 5:30. And it was a great first day. We had breakfast at Cracker Barrel
Yes.
and everything. And I decided to read.
Bad idea.
And I don't know if it was the new vehicle. Reading on the road probably had something to do with it. But I got a massive migraine. Like
debilitating
sick.
migraine.
Where usually I would go to bed with a hot compress.
Yeah.
But I'm in the car.
And we don't have a microwave.
Yeah. So that was a long day. Like I didn't eat. I couldn't eat anything.
After Cracker Barrel. You did eat at Cracker Barrel.
I did, but it was after Cracker Barrel. Anyway, so the first day was interesting. And so we cut it shorter than we usually would have on a first day.
Yeah.
So because I wasn't feeling so well. So we arrived at midnight. Something like that. In a really bad storm in Minnesota. Yeah, it was raining really bad.
It was.
And wind and anyway. But I felt better in the morning.
You did.
And Minnesota's a pretty cool place. Everybody's super nice.
They are. They were very forgiving. Anyway, when we got pulled over.
Oh, I was going to let you I was waiting for you to tell the story.
I wasn't going to go into too much detail because we do have a lot to cover.
We do have a lot to cover.
So anyway, we
suffice to say, Minnesota is awesome.
We stopped in North Dakota.
We stopped in Fargo, North Dakota to eat at the Spitfire Grill, which is amazing if you're ever in that area.
It is.
There's
amazing.
A location in
Yes.
Fargo and a location in Detroit, and it's amazing.
Where did we spend the night in Montana? Did we make it to Montana?
Yes. So Mama drove. Yeah. Mom was really a trooper on this trip, and then now we're dealing with Dad. So
yeah.
She's been it's been hitting her hard for a couple months now. But anyway, we drove across North Dakota, mostly at night, and into Billings, Montana.
Yes. So we stayed there. And then how long was it, the drive to near Glacier?
6 hours, which is
6
short
hours,
compared
so
to
it
what
wasn't
we've
that
been
bad.
doing. Yeah.
And we stayed at a little bed and breakfast there, which is really nice.
Yes. We stopped for coffee
Yes.
at City Brew in Bozeman, which was really good.
Yes.
Anyway,
Coffee.
so
we bought like 6 bags of coffee on that trip.
Yes.
On this trip.
Our favorite souvenirs were coffee.
And t-shirts.
Yeah. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I had found this bed and breakfast in Columbia Falls, and Mr. Bill, the owner, was super nice. We had a great room.
Yeah.
It was nice and roomy. And there was a Smith's, which is owned by Kroger. So we're able to find awesome, keto food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
so that day we drove to check out the park.
Day.
No, we did it that day too because we found out that we didn't do it that night.
We went shopping and had ice cream.
Never mind. We did that.
The next morning.
The next day we went to the park just to check it out and see, really just find our footing and then plan like any hikes we wanted to do or other places we wanted to check out.
Right.
We didn't know we needed a pass to go the easier route.
Yeah, it's a new thing with the national parks. Just a heads up, there are like 6 parks that they have this new driving pass that takes like 48 hours to get anyway. And we didn't have 48 hours to wait, so we took a back road.
Yeah, which turned out it was beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
It was beautiful. So we basically drove around. We didn't hike anything that day.
No, we visited like McDonald's and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
honestly, to be honest, I wasn't overly impressed. I mean, it was gorgeous, especially the back roads. But like the area around like McDonald, it was just like, okay, cool. It was pretty wooded. You couldn't see how massive the place was.
Yeah.
But the next day,
we did 2 hikes.
Yeah.
That day we did an early morning hike. It was like 30 degrees.
It was nice.
It was
I enjoyed it.
cold.
I love morning.
Thankfully, funny story, we didn't bring any. We brought flannel. That's all we brought.
Yeah.
Because
we
Mom
were
was like,
buy a jacket there.
buy a jacket there.
Souvenir.
A souvenir. Well, we didn't find anything we liked the first day. Because we have if you're going to buy it, you got to love it.
Exactly.
You got to want to keep it. Not buy something and next year it's gone. So we didn't really find anything we liked.
Not really. Mom found a really nice hoodie.
Mama did.
But Abby and I were stuck.
Yeah, we were. So we got desperate enough. We stopped by this liquor store that sold souvenirs. And we got some cheap stuff just to make do, which was very vital. And the owner of the bed and breakfast let us borrow two
Two winter
oversized
jackets. So we were good.
But so that if
we
we
didn't
had
have
that,
gloves either. It was
No,
cold.
we didn't.
My hands got cold. Anyway,
but we walked around. It wasn't like McDonald. It was another lake. Right?
it was, so we woke up at 4
again.
to drive and try and catch the sunrise,
Yeah.
which we did. Not like us parked and watching it, but like we were driving up and the fog, and we were driving to a cloud,
It
and
was so pretty.
the sun on it was gorgeous.
We saw not mountain goats. I always get them mixed up.
No, bighorn sheep. Like a little group of 5 crossed right in front of us. We got some great pictures. And we were up higher than Lake McDonald, and that's where you really get to see like how massive the park is, the mountains. I mean, we were probably looking into Canada, we just didn't know it. Like it is gorgeous.
Well,
We hiked to St. Mary's Falls.
Well, we never made it to the falls. We
got to St. Mary's. We didn't get to the second one.
Oh, the second one.
Yeah.
But
it was St.
still,
Mary's Lake. I said Gunsight Lake. That was a mistake. It was St. Mary's Lake. Yeah.
It was so pretty in the morning, in the early morning.
It was like 7:30.
There was nobody there.
there.
Gave us Lord of the Rings vibes.
It was so
like, when they're walking alongside the river and stuff like that. It was beautiful,
really cool.
and it was worth the cold.
So we were there first.
Yeah.
And then we drove back down and took some pictures along the way, because there was like cool tunnel cutouts and everything. And plus, you have to go super, super slow. So it may only be like 15 miles to Lake McDonald, but it's going to take you like half an hour because you just have to be really slow. So we went down to actually Kapgar Village.
Apgar.
Sorry, I kept messing up the name. Anyway, we went down there to eat because it was right on the lake.
Yeah.
See, Lake McDonald is above the lake, where Apgar is right on the lake, and that's where you kayak and stuff like that. Anyway, so we were checking out the gift shop. We ate there. We checked out all the gift shops that were open. That was fun. Anyway, and let it warm up a little bit, kind of just chill.
I was
for
I don't want to hike anymore in the cold, please.
Then we drove back up to Avalanche Lake, and we walked the first part of the Trail of Cedars, which was gorgeous.
Yes.
And then we got on the Avalanche Trail and hiked to Avalanche Lake.
That was probably my favorite trail we hiked. We only hiked 3. But it was 5 miles round trip.
Yes.
Which is not too bad. 5 miles is like, I can do that.
Yes.
Now, we'll tell you all later about our 13-mile hike, which was
slightly my fault. Anyway,
it was Naomi's fault.
Anyway, so we hiked to the lake, and it was gorgeous.
Okay, I kept thinking like Sound of Music vibes.
Yeah, it was so panoramic and like the mountains.
Beautiful.
And it was funny. So we've hiked in Cades Cove before. So it's like Tennessee, Southerners. They'll talk to you. In Glacier National Park, you're dealing with tourists, which there was a ton of Eastern Indian people. Sorry. There were like a ton of Eastern Indian, which they were nice. We talked to a few of them and stuff like that. But it was just so funny because it hits you.
This is a tourist.
This is a tourist place. Like, these people are from everywhere. There was all kinds of people there.
Yeah.
And so no one was really talking to us.
Because when we would walk to Cades Cove, as we were walking up there, people would be coming back and they would be like, "You're almost there.
You're halfway there.
You're halfway there. Whatever.
It's worth it.
It's worth it." Yeah.
Yeah.
We got that towards the end of the trail.
At the very end, people were like, "You're about 400 steps away," or something like that. It was funny.
Because walking uphill.
It was a lot of uphill.
It was.
Which was nothing compared to what we ended up doing in Yellowstone. But anyway, we got there. We kind of chilled with the chipmunks, or whatever those things were, by the lake.
Chipmunks.
Remember?
Chipmunks. Yeah.
Okay. They were chipmunks, but they're marked. It was 2 different kinds. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. Got some awesome pictures. And then on the way back, we decided to be nice and tell people how far they were. But one game photographer, he was walking toward us and he had his stand out. And they always tell you when you're at a national park and you see a person with a game camera, stick with them because they know what they're looking for and they can spot wildlife and stuff like that. And he whispered, he's like, there's a red fox to your left. And we immediately stopped and we're like looking, and we were walking super quietly, and there was. And because we had seen one earlier.
We'd hit one earlier.
We saw one early in the morning, and then Mom almost hit one around lunchtime. But anyway, he made it. So this one was digging out a vole or something, like he was looking for food. And so he was there a good 5 minutes, like not caring. People were taking pictures of him and whatever. He didn't care. Then he got spooked by a group of guys that didn't know he was there. But anyway, so that was really cool. And I was like, cool. That is a gentlemanly thing to do, I mean, I would want that done to me.
Yeah.
Or, him as a photographer probably knows that this is a rare moment. So anyway,
yeah,
it was super nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, it gave me a treat. Cool. Sorry, I was thinking that. So on the hike back was super easy because
pretty easy, yeah.
It was mostly downhill and stuff.
My feet were killing me.
My feet were not.
I had worn the wrong socks.
Yes. So. See, we got these compression socks at Fleet Feet, and we have Fleet Feet shoes, which if you are a hiker, runner, walker, whatever, it doesn't matter, go to Fleet Feet. You will thank me later.
It's worth it. They
do a 5-dimensional scan, and it's just, you will immediately tell the difference. Anyway, so we were ready on that point.
Yeah.
So after Avalanche Lake, we ate, right? Like ate dinner.
Didn't we eat wraps and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, in the car.
We packed.
We were hungry.
And
I was starving.
We stayed out because we wanted to see the night sky.
Well, we were going to go to Highline, remember?
Oh, yeah, we were going to Highline.
Because at the Apgar gift shop, the lady told us if you want to see mountain goats, because we'd seen, basically everything we wanted, the bighorn sheep, the foxes. We really wanted to see mountain goats or maybe even a moose. We didn't know. And they told us that the moose were on Mini Glacier, which is the east side, and we weren't going that far. But she said, if you want to see mountain goats, there's a good chance if you hike the Highland Trail. And she's like, it's advanced, but usually about the first half mile, you should see some goats and stuff. So we were going to just do like a mile maybe and see if we saw anything and then come back.
Yeah.
So we were on our way and we stopped. I think Mom stopped to get a picture of Heaven's, what was that
Heaven's
name?
Peak?
Yeah, Heaven's Peak. I think is that the name?
I don't know if we had stopped at somewhere to take a picture.
And Mom had gotten out and we were in and we were eating, like our car's a mess. Anyway, and she brings these two ladies, a mom and her daughter, and she's like, these ladies need to ride to St. Mary's. Now, we thought St. Mary's Falls. We thought St. Mary was St. Mary's Falls. Anyway, we had no idea. It was like Apgar Village kind of place. It was another
15
stop.
minutes, 20 minutes.
We didn't know how far it was. And we were like, sure. So we cleaned out the car and we were with them, talking with them.
Everything in the back.
Yes. Anyway, so we, talked about music and family and where they're from and, stuff like that. Iowa. They're from Iowa originally.
Minnesota.
I thought it was Iowa. Was it Minnesota?
The girl lives
in Iowa.
The daughter lives in Iowa.
Right. Anyway, so Mom starts to pull over at St. Mary's Falls and they're like, no, it's farther. You go to the visitor center. We're like, oh, okay. So that we were like, all right, well, we'll just not worry about Highline. But between St. Mary's Falls and St. Mary, the visitor center, we saw a ranger truck with his lights on.
Yeah.
And the traffic coming the other way was like stopped or moving super slowly. And we're like, what's going on? Is someone injured? We didn't know. Anyway. And so we passed by and we saw a mama grizzly and two cubs. We would have never seen them if we weren't taking these ladies to St. Mary's.
So
we were so excited. Abby got some really good pictures.
Mama did. I got a video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mom got some really good pictures. Abby got a video, and we sent them to the lady because they were on the opposite side of the car.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was really cool.
It was.
And the area is a little flatter. around St. Mary's. So it was really pretty with the sunset and the red
Gorgeous
rock.
view.
It was amazing.
So we went back after we dropped him off.
Yeah.
We went. We wanted to see the night sky. So Naomi had seen a spot earlier that she was like, that would be a great place. So,
But it looked a lot different at night.
yeah, we had trouble. We
Took us a
we
while
got
to
turned
find
around,
it.
but we found it, and the night sky was absolutely gorgeous. I just grabbed my blanket because it was cold again, obviously, and laid out on the ground because I didn't want to crane my neck.
Yes.
And
it's so panoramic if you lay on the
Yes.
ground. And Mama got some amazing pictures. Thank you, Apple, for the low light camera because she got some really cool pictures. And I don't think it was the time of year. It definitely wasn't the time of year for Northern Lights or the Milky Way. But some of her pictures have like the outline of the Milky Way.
Yeah,
It's so pretty. I posted some a couple weeks ago, I think.
yeah.
Anyway.
So that was fun,
It
and then
was
we
nice.
went back to the bed and breakfast and crashed, literally.
Yes. We slept great on this trip because we were tired all the time. But anyway,
We were like,
the next morning we woke up pretty like 6-ish, 6:30, earlier than we
was it that early?
yeah. We got in at midnight and I had to get up at 6 because we needed to be in Cody, Wyoming by 5.
Right.
Because this place
How long was the trip to Cody?
another 6 hours.
Another 6 hours. So, and we
6 or
wanted to get
7.
there like more like 4.
Yeah, and we wanted to stop in Bozeman again for coffee.
Right.
Anyway.
So we took that trip.
Yes, which
and
was pretty.
It was
It was
pretty.
a nice trip.
We
And-
stayed at a ranch.
Yes, it was a bed
near
and
Cody.
breakfast
Yes.
ranch. It was the K3 guest ranch, and we met I lost her name. I had it and I lost it. Anyway, we met the housekeeper, and she showed us our room and stuff.
She was really nice. Terry?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Miss Terry.
Yes.
Good job, Abby. And so we went. Did we go shopping that night for groceries for the next day? Yeah, we did because we got ice cream.
No,
we didn't.
We shopped the next day and got
We
ice cream
didn't.
for that night.
You're right. So
No,
we
I
just
think-
chilled that evening.
No. We shopped that evening. We just saved the ice cream.
For the other night. Anyway.
Sorry, guys.
So we
I
went.
don't know.
We found a store. And it started with the A. Whatever. There was some great stuff there too.
Western has so much more keto stuff than
I know,
feels
it
like
was
the East.
crazy.
We're like, come on, Tennessee, get your act together. It was like we found like wraps and ice cream that you never see around.
No. I mean, it's probably
Knoxville.
somewhere we just haven't been shopping that much.
Probably Whole Foods, but we're too poor to shop at Whole Foods.
It's also a pretty long drive.
I know.
It's like 45 minutes.
yeah.
Anyway.
Whereas Walmart's like 8 minutes away. So.
Anyway, so we prepared for the next day trip and just kind of chilled. Because we were getting news that the guys were sick and stuff like that. So it was hard because it was we were away 11 days, which was the longest that
Mhm.
we'd been away from the guys. And I think they slightly freaked out. But anyway, they were getting sick. So we were like, oh, we're not there. So there was some of
there
that
was a little
going
bit more
on
stress at the end
towards the end
our
of the trip.
just because
Yeah.
that's when Dad got sick. For those of you who know that our dad is in the
Yes.
hospital. He had COVID and pneumonia, and he's COVID free.
But they're still working on the pneumonia part.
Well, also just getting his lungs back to strength,
Exactly.
and so
Anyway, so
yeah,
we were
that's
trying
when he
to
got sick, and just the stress of like, okay,
right.
especially for Mom, just her not being able to be there, and
Right.
Daddy
Making sure
does
they're
not
doing
like
other
being
stuff.
sick, and if he can do things, he will do them, and it feels he doesn't always like to rest, so now he's been forced to rest.
Yes. So it's a good thing in a weird way. Anyway,
Anyway,
so we chilled that evening
Mhm.
and decided the next day would be our Discovery Day.
yes,
That's
we
what we
liked
call it.
having that day to just find everything, and
Yeah. That way the next
Figure
day
out
we
everything.
usually have a super long day, wake up for the sunrise, whatever.
we did.
Anyway, Yeah, woke up
Did
at
we
3.
hike any? I thought we walked
No, we
some.
didn't. We went to the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone.
Okay.
So we drove from Cody to Yellowstone, which
is one of the most
it was
beautiful
so
drives
pretty.
you will ever.
Teddy Roosevelt was right on that thing.
It is gorgeous.
One of the
I'm
most
sorry, it's
beautiful
prettier
50
than Yellowstone
miles.
itself.
At least
for
where
me.
we were in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Anyway. So it was to the Buffalo Bill State Park and everything. So we took some pictures, just kind of moseyed along. We got into Yellowstone and like literally right on
2
the
minutes.
stretch of road, there was something walking down, and I thought it was a person. I'm like, who is walking down the middle of the road? And we got closer, and it's a buffalo. So we got some awesome, like he literally walked past our vehicle. It was hilarious.
We saw
a ton of
much
buffalo.
But that's almost all we saw.
Yeah. Anyway,
In Yellowstone.
we stopped.
Yellowstone was a little bit disappointing. I guess after Glacier, for me, I love the mountain, like the extreme mountains. And Yellowstone was more hilly for me. Yeah, you were in the mountains, quotation, hand quotes, whatever. Anyway, but it was much more of hillies and hills. Anyway, so I mean, it was cool.
Yeah,
cool
we walked a
experiences.
little bit. We saw like around the Yellowstone Lake.
We saw a snake.
Yeah, so
Like
I almost
a baby
stepped on
snake.
it. Anyway, so we walked around a little bit there. Kind of noted. I will say Yellowstone has it right with they have their own app, and there's bathrooms everywhere, which is amazing.
Which is really nice.
It's really nice. Anyway, so we went to Fishing Bridge.
Yes.
Shopped there, and then that's where we discovered that the road from Fishing Bridge to
Or we wanted
from Canyon Village, because we went to Canyon Village next after Fishing Bridge. The road from Canyon Village to I forgot.
wherever we wanted to.
It's the Canyon to something road. Anyway, it was closed, so we couldn't hike Washburn Peak, which is what Mrs. Foreman was telling us to do, and it would take longer, and we were about to figure out how long the next day, but it would be a roundabout drive to Lamar Valley, which is where you're supposed to see the wolves.
But the wolves it's more in the extreme morning, and you should have binoculars because it's not like they're gonna walk up to your car,
so you can take a picture of them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so we learned some lessons. If we go back to Yellowstone, which maybe one day we will.
Yes, we're more interested in Glacier though.
We're have binoculars, and never hike to see wildlife because the wildlife will decide not to see you.
Anyway, so to wrap up our discovery day, we went to Canyon Village. We went to the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, which was gorgeous.
The waterfall was
so
beautiful.
Cool. And so we walked around there. And also the other thing that was closed was Uncle Tom's Trail, which was another thing that Mrs. Foreman was telling us to do, and it was closed. So that was a little frustrating because all these things that everyone tells you to do is closed. You're like, okay, well. Okay. And we drove a little bit around, and then we went back home, and we caught the sunset in the Buffalo. Mom got some great pictures in the Buffalo.
We saw a herd of buffalo that day.
Yeah, because we
did awesome.
Drive through Hayden Valley, which is really pretty. Like we saw prairie grass and
buffalo. We saw antelope the next day. We saw some elk.
We saw deer. We actually saw a lot of elk.
Female elk, though. Yes. We might have seen one like young buck.
Yearling.
That's
what they call those up.
Thank you. But we never saw any like big elk.
Yes.
Which we're okay with that.
Or moose.
We have
really wanted
resolved
to see moose
ourselves to what we were able to see and what we weren't able to see.
Yes. If God wanted us to see, it would have happened.
Yes. We got back home. We ate our ice cream,
which was really good.
Was really good. And then
we woke up at 3.
Yes.
Because we were going early. Our goal, the idea, the plan was to get to Lamar Valley by dawn to see the wolves and then work our way back. So I had the app and we had kind of planned where we wanted to go. And I read that this trail, what was it called? Dang it, I forgot the name.
I forgot it too.
We should remember because it was memorable.
It was very memorable.
Anyway, I'll remember it. And anyway, so this trail, it was 11-mile loop which Mom liked because then you're seeing it's a totally different trail the whole time. And
we liked until we started walking it.
yeah. Anyway, it was 11-mile loop trail, and you were supposed to see moose, mountain goats, bears, like all the wildlife. And we were like,
yes,
oh,
that's
let's
what we
do
want to
that.
see. We want to see wildlife.
We were going to do Lamar Valley, then hike that, and then eat lunch or whatever, and then go down to Grand Prismatic Spring.
Yeah, we were gonna walk a little bit down
there because that was one thing that was actually open that people were telling us to look for. Anyway,
also wasn't that one of the geysers?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the geysers were cool. The
sulfur was horrible,
but it was cool.
It was cool because we'd never seen that kind of a terrain before, so that was something unique about Yellowstone. Comparing the mountains to glacier, but anyway, so it took us 3 hours to get to Lamar Valley. 3 hours. We didn't realize it was taking that long until we got there.
And then we got there and they were like, oh, there were wolves, like
little dots on the hill. We're like, dude.
And it's like, we could barely, all the wildlife was seriously far away.
It was not a good day. Anyway, so we went to Lamar Valley.
Okay, there's no purpose in us waiting around here when we don't have binoculars and we can't see anything. Yeah. So we were like, okay, let's go hike.
So we drove back across because it's a loop. Anyway, if you were looking at a map, we were all the way on the east side in Lamar Valley or west side. Anyway, and so we drove to Mammoth Springs, which is like 5 miles from Gardner, Montana. So we're like right up there, North Wyoming area.
We ate breakfast, which was very smart.
Which is a really good idea because originally we were just going to walk the trail and then eat because we intermittent fast and stuff. But then we're like, you know what? Let's eat just a little bit.
Well, I was hungry for some reason. So.
We were hungry. Anyway, so we had like our egg bites and yogurt and stuff. Anyway, used the restroom. And we started the trail.
Let's go. And
it was fun for a while. But that morning.
It started off pretty warm because the sun was up and you were in the woods. So, I mean, it was fairly warm. Honestly, we did not want to see a bear. I'm sorry. I love seeing bears from my car. Safe.
From the safety of my car.
I did not want to meet a bear. And this had bears. So I was like, okay, God, I don't want to meet a bear, but I'd love to see a mountain goat or a moose or something.
So we started the trail.
Yeah.
And that morning when I was rechecking all our plans and stuff, I noticed a word that I had missed when we were making our plans. Mm-hmm. Strenuous. A strenuous 11-mile loop trail.
It was very strenuous.
I was like, you know what? I am not going to tell Mom and Abby that because some people say strenuous, but we're in good, healthy condition.
Right.
So maybe they mean strenuous but it was strenuous. They were not kidding. Anyway, so there was a lot of steep parts and
I was sore for like 3 days.
It was bad.
Seriously.
Anyway, I mean, it was exhilarating for me because it was like a challenge and stuff, but
it was exhilarating till like the very end.
Yeah. Anyway, but I used to have respiratory issues because I had flu and then pneumonia and was just not in very good health before we got on keto and stuff. So I would really try to pay attention to my breathing and my heart. And so we stopped a lot and I was breathing hard, like my lungs. I was exercising my lungs.
Well, there was points where I would try to push myself, like walk quickly uphill and then stop, but that got too exhausting for me. So it was like slow and steady, and we stopped a lot.
Enjoyed the views.
Yes,
it was really cool.
There was some amazing views,
like
and
we were looking down on Gardner and could just see him. I was like, oh, we drove, like you could see the road we drove to on the way to Cody and everything.
And there was one point where we were walking in the woods. It was beautiful.
That was the best part. I don't know where that was.
That was my favorite part.
Gorgeous. And it was secluded. It was just us on the trail. So it was kind of cool. There were some good parts about it, but a storm blew in.
So we got
So we were because we're on the mountaintop. So we're super close to the clouds and stuff. It was really cool. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. and
The
it
storm
sleeted
the
on
mountain
us.
was cool.
Yes.
Though I did not have a hood or a cap or anything to cover my head. So I think that's why.
I had gotten hot, so I had taken off my hoodie. So it sleeted on us, and I was in my t-shirt, but I was so hot that it actually felt really good.
The wind got there was
wind
one
was
point
so-
the wind was wild.
It was crazy.
It was kind of cool though. I mean, to
Yes.
think
So
you
we
have
climbed
all
up this
those-
one part, and then it was flat for a while, and then we entered the really woody part that was super pretty.
Yes.
Anyway, it was
which
so
was a nice
windy.
break because it was flatter. It was like,
Yes.
haha,
That was the best
this
part
is
of the
my
whole
kind of
trail.
trail.
Anyway, but it was so cool was the wind was creaking the trees, and I felt like Legolas in Lord of the Rings with the trees talking and stuff. It was really I was like
awesome.
all in my element. Anyway, but it was also deadly quiet. And I told him, I'm like, y'all stop, listen. Nothing, not even the birds. And I'm like, they know we're here. So obviously we didn't see any wildlife because they knew
didn't
we were
see
here. It was like
any
this
wildlife
squirrel.
on this
There was
trail.
a squirrel.
Any wildlife.
That was like following us. It felt like he was following us and alerting everybody that we were there. It was very annoying.
Okay, we heard an eagle, which was really cool.
That was surreal because we were on the mountaintop
Yeah,
looking over
we heard-
Gardner and
yeah.
we heard the chills.
That was really cool. But other than that, we just saw some views, and you start to see the same views, and you're like, how many more miles do we have of this?
Exactly. Which I knew how long it was going to take once we got up the mountain. So again, I was trying to
Save us.
be positive
Protect.
and,
Thank
you know. Anyway,
Once
well,
we got to that,
we passed the peak and didn't know it because like
they
you would
didn't have
think they would have a
or
sign
anything.
like you have
reached the
the
top.
of the mountain, you know, that you were working
didn't
so hard
have
to
that.
get to in the first place. So we passed it and I'm looking at the map and I'm like, oh, we just passed the peak.
And I'm
And
like,
we're like,
I'm not
we're not
going
going back
back.
for a picture.
because like it was like the last, I would say the last little bit up to the peak was like the hardest, one of the hardest part. I'm going to get to the hardest part of the trail for me, which was not climbing up. But it was one of the hardest, and they were ready to give out. And I'm like, we have to walk all that way back. Anyway, so I got
Exactly.
up there, and I mean, it was a pretty view, but we had seen a better view.
Yeah,
like
it wasn't it
back
was-
a little bit
was
ways
interesting.
down the trail. Anyway, so I'm like, I'm not going back to take a picture of the view. We already got a cool picture of the
exactly. So we kept on heading
view
downhill
and stuff like that.
and you would think downhill would be easier.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't.
It was not.
Because they decided, whoever invented this trail, decided to zig down your way down the mountain
Zigzag
through.
down your way.
It was literally cutbacks the whole way down.
It was a goat trail. Or a
Exactly.
sheep trail, whatever.
Well, then the goats were dumb, and anyway, it was just weird.
It was, well, I mean, it man-made-ish, but it was so rocky.
And the
It
trail
was like
was super
no one
narrow.
maintains these trails.
No.
The trail was narrow.
And it was
and
rocky.
It was exhaustingly long to get downhill, and I was like, this is the worst part of the trail for me.
Yeah.
Because it's a view, but like an hour in, you're
done.
like, this is a cool view, but
And it was
not amazing
super
anymore.
windy. Like we were ready to get some trees because the sun was on us because the storm had passed.
Well, and
And
we
it
were
was
ready to
reflecting
get
off the
back. Our
clouds.
feet were sore. Our
Yeah.
legs were sore. We
And-
were just ready
And
to
I'm
get.
over there knowing how long we have left.
No, and yeah. And so Mom and I both ranted to Naomi, and then she was like, okay, I need some me time. I'm going to walk ahead.
And I was really ahead for a while. Anyway,
But
it was a good bonding time, but
it
man,
was a lesson. And honestly,
felt
I
so
literally
bad.
said, this is the worst. And then it got worse for me.
But
It got
then-
worse. It got worse. So we get down our zigzaggy trail. I really wanted to roll down the hill and just be
It would
over
have been
with
faster.
it. It would have been
Wrap
faster.
yourself.
It's like, come on.
Wrap yourself in bubble wrap and just.
It was terrible. Okay. We do not recommend this trail at all. If you want to see the view, hike up to the pretty view, hike back down the way you came. You don't want to walk the whole thing. You just don't. I don't know why I'm talking to the mic. I feel like it's the camera.
We don't have a camera anymore, but anyway.
Anyway, you don't want to walk the whole way. Anyway, so we get down there and I seriously start having cramps. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, I'm not talking about women's cramps. I'm talking about just cramps in my whole abdomen area. And I was like, I have 3 more miles to walk. What I thought was 3 more miles, it was more like 5. I think it was just 3, maybe.
It ended up being 5 because I took the wrong turn. But
Because Naomi took us the wrong turn. Anyway, I had cramps and I didn't have, I think I might have rubbed peppermint. I don't know if we had the oils or not.
we did.
So I think I rubbed
Bro,
peppermint.
I was
but
prepared.
I had cramps for like a good 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we still had like 35 miles to walk. And so Naomi's like, I'm ready to get back. We're low on water. I want to get back and
Yeah,
eat.
I had paced myself. I was only drinking like a couple gulps of water every hour. Like I was on the clock.
And I seriously did not know what time it was. I didn't look at the time till at the
I
end.
wouldn't
And I'm
let her look
glad
her-
I
look
didn't
at
look
the
at the
time.
time till the end.
I knew the time because
I
I
would have
was
gotten
watching
really
them.
discouraged.
Nah.
But anyway, I had cramps and then I had a bloody nose. So I was like, okay, God, I won't say it's the worst anymore. Thank
Oh,
you.
brother.
But that was the second bloody nose. I got a bloody nose on Avalanche Trail. And it's just, I usually tend to breathe through my nose when I need air. Nose and mouth. And I'm just panting. And then the air dries your nose out. And then anyway. So that was fun.
Anyway, so my lungs were hurting. And
I was seriously so mad.
She was mad.
I was mad.
So-
If you wanted to see me mad, you don't want to see me mad. Anyway,
So on the way back, I'm literally like different stuff would pop into my head, and I was just like, but the constant thought was like, you have to keep moving because if you keep moving,
at least you're
then
moving
you'll
forward.
get there
serious
eventually.
life lesson that sometimes after your mountaintop experience, that's when the battle gets hardest.
Oh, yeah.
Is on the way down.
Literally,
into the
I
valley.
quit thinking about my legs and my feet because I'm like, if I think about them, I'm going to
And
feel
it
how
was
much they're
like,
hurting.
I
right now.
knew that one day we would look back on it and it would
laugh.
be like laugh and be like, but I'm like, this is the longest day.
So
of
we were
my
trying
life.
to.
I also started singing. That was the thing that got me through the
Yes.
last because
That's probably why we
just-
also didn't see any wildlife by the end
Wow.
of it. But no, I'm just kidding.
I had to do something
I
because
know.
we were also we saw nothing, no
It was
wildlife.
very
It was
disappointing.
empty, not even distant wildlife. We didn't see anything. I don't know.
We saw droppings and hoof prints. That's it.
That was amazing. Anyway, so Naomi takes a wrong turn.
I was trying to read the map,
Yeah.
and I ended up taking us
2
on a different loop
miles
trail.
out of our way.
And so instead of 11 miles, it ended up being 13.8 miles.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize I'd done that until we were
The
above
very
the
end.
Mammoth Springs. And by then, you and I were kind of loosening up, but Mom was so funny. Her feet we all have wide feet. So the trail had been really hard on her feet. And if it was rocky, she didn't want to misstep and twist something. Because she had a bad experience in Serbia where she scraped her whole leg because she took a misstep and
Mm-hmm.
fell down. Anyway, so Abby and I had ended up walking ahead of her, and it was funny. She told us the next day that she was like, "They left me." Anyway, it was
just
funny.
like the trail had pretty flattened out,
yeah.
and I was like, I'm ready to get back, and we were so close, and I was just like, I'm just ready to get back. I'm ready to get back, and I was like,
You told me the only
There's
thing
food in the
keeping you
car.
going is there's food in the car.
I'm not.
It was hilarious
Anyway,
because we were
so-
starving too.
Well, I mean, I wasn't starving,
I was
but
starving.
I was just ready to be off my feet. My feet were killing me.
Yes.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so
we
just
walked-
keep going. So we were kind of like speed walking. So we didn't mean to leave Mom behind, but we were like, we want to make it there. But we get to like right before
where
the
we
last
started,
yeah.
almost like
Yeah.
where we split off because there were like 4 different trails that started in the part that we were
It's very confusing.
by Liberty Cab, and so we stopped to wait for Mom because we wanted to finish the trail together.
Yes.
So we did. We finished the trail together, and then we went to the bathroom, and then we're like, we are not walking anymore.
We're not even going to see the geyser.
So we ended up not going to see the geyser because we were so exhausted, and we were
What time was
stuffing
it
our faces
when we
with
got? What time was it? We had spent 9 hours.
It was 7
on that trail.
It was 7:30.
9
it was between
hours.
7:30 and 8.
1 bottle of water.
No food.
No food, which, I mean,
No
we,
bathroom
we
breaks,
made it.
honestly.
No bathroom breaks, which we made it.
It was a long day, and we were just ready to get back.
That's how we spent our day.
That was our day
at
in Yellowstone.
So
We should probably go back to see more stuff, but we're going to plan it better.
Anyway, so that was a little bit, it was a lesson, but it was a little bit of disappointment.
Yeah.
So do not hike that trail.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it.
But-
Don't hike to see wildlife.
No.
If you want to hike to see a view, and wildlife is just bonus, because honestly, unless you want to do that, I'm just, for beginners out there, don't hike to see wildlife. It's not worth it.
And read like the description of the trail so you know what you're getting into. Like, don't speed read it.
And prepare.
Yeah.
Plan to spend a whole day on the hike.
Anyway, so the next day we, slept in, ate breakfast, which the owner of the ranch was an awesome guy. He was just so funny. He's like in his 80s, cracking jokes. It was awesome. I will say though, I felt it on my forehead.
We got so sunburned and windburned, and it was.
And my chest I would cough because it felt like there was air trapped at the very bottom of my lungs, because on the way up the trail, I was using literally my whole lungs to breathe because I was breathing so hard. And then on the way back, it was more shallow because it wasn't as strenuous, and I was speed walking, and when you're speed walking, your breaths are really short. Anyway, so in the car, I was feeling like there was air trapped in the bottom of my lungs, so it would make me kind of cough in a weird way. And then I felt on my forehead, I just could feel the heat headache, and I was like, oh, I want to have sunburn up there, because I didn't have a hat on. I don't like hats. And the sun and then the wind, because I remember that feeling when we were in the Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, and we went all the way 12,000, and I had really bad windburn. So the next morning, oh my goodness, I was red.
Like beet red.
I was beet red. Like makeup wouldn't have hidden it. It was bad. And it was part sunburn, but mostly it was windburn because the wind had been so strong. And
makeup hid mine a little bit.
I didn't want to touch my face. Anyway,
I was like, I don't want to take pictures red faced. So no, thank you.
I don't care. But they told us to go to the meadery because we wanted to buy some elk and just big game meat.
We ended up walking around Cody, that's one of my favorite things to do, is to walk around just old towns and visit the shops and just take it. We had we had two 24-ounce.
Yes, I was about to say that. Mrs. Foreman told us about rawhide coffee. So we went to the drive-through place, and they have a ton of sugar-free options, which is awesome for us keto. And with it being a mom and pop thing, they have heavy whipping cream, no sugar, and their stuff isn't all sugar based like Starbucks or something. So they had 24 ounces of their
it was so good.
Dang it, I forgot what it was called.
Frappuccino.
It wasn't a frap. It was
but it's like a frappuccino.
It's an Italian thing. Anyway, it was so good.
It was
so I got
amazing.
White chocolate the first time.
You got toffee.
English toffee, and Mom got. What did she get? I don't know. Anywai, mine was the best. So we went shopping, and then we got some more groceries from the store. Then we went to the meadery and bought out a lot of all the bison.
We bought out them bison We bought them out on bison and
then
elk,
we got a lot of elk.
We got lamb and chorizo, which was really good.
With no sugar and stuff. Anyway, and then there was some kind of car show going on across the street in the park area. And then we had noticed a shop that we were like, oh, we would want to go there. Well, on the way there, we passed the Rawhide brick and mortar store, and there were all these other cool stores. We're like, you know what? We got a couple hours to kill. So we walked one side of the block of the historic Cody area, and we got another 24-ounce frap thing from the Rawhide. This time I got pumpkin spice, which was so good. It was the best. I don't remember what I got. You got peanut butter, and Mom got white chocolate.
Your pumpkin spice was amazing, though.
It was the best. Anyway, so we're having a ton of coffee. We're super hyper. Anyway, the shopping was awesome. really cool stores, meeting some cool people. And so we did that. It was like 2 or 3
It was
hours.
very relaxing though after
It
our
was
day
nice.
of hiking.
It
So
was just chill walking.
see,
and
we love the simple things.
yeah,
So it was
exactly.
fun.
So from Cody, we drove to Buffalo,
Yep.
and it was Saturday night, so that's when they do the live music in the saloon, and that's our songwriter friend David Stewart. He and his wife own the hotel, and she actually checked us in. Miss
We got to
Janet-
meet her. She was
Janet,
really sweet.
that's her name, right?
I don't know.
Anyway, Mrs. Stewart. She checked us in and everything, and we made a reservation for the Virginian, which is the fine dining restaurant next to
That
the
was
hotel.
like a really expensive
That was
meal.
our splurge meal, and we were like, we deserve it after the 13.8 mile
We
hike.
got bison ribeyes,
yes,
and we split the elk thing. I think I would have liked
elk
the
tenderloin.
elk tenderloin. I think I would have liked the elk tenderloin if it was cooked a little bit
Yes,
more.
it was cooked
It was
rare.
pretty good.
But it was still
they
really
called
good.
it medium rare,
But
but
it
it
looked
looked
rare.
more rare.
Anyway, it was good. The steak was the best, though. It was so good.
I figured it out, and this is because people are like, I like this type of meat. Some people don't like gamey meat. I like gamey meat. I'm more of an elk venison person than buffalo. I enjoyed the buffalo ribeye. Buffalo burgers, it's okay
if you do
for
a
me.
steak instead of a burger, I feel like you taste more of the unique flavor of bison. Whereas
It
at a
has
burger,
a-
it tastes like a normal burger to
It
me.
has a weird taste, but I do have to say my taste buds got messed up, which we'll talk about later. Like,
Why did it do
my taste buds got messed up because when I got sick. So when I was eating the buffalo.
Oh, we found anyway. We'll get to there. Anyway, so we got to see Mr. David, and it ended up that our other songwriting friend Brink Brinkman, which those two, David Stewart and Brink Brinkman, wrote "Love Is the Key" for us, and so he was there too.
Yeah.
So they were doing music together for the Saturday night music in the
Yeah.
saloon. So after we ate at the restaurant, which the whole restaurant staff, everyone, it was awesome. A great experience, especially since they're understaffed. Like a lot of these places are understaffed now with 2020 and people not working
It
and
was
stuff like
really
that.
pretty.
But we had awesome waiter, and it was a cool atmosphere and everything.
Yeah.
And
Delicious food.
The hotel was really, if you can,
Really cool.
and you want a one night, 1 or 2 night, whatever, however long you're staying, Buffalo is a
Experience,
great,
yeah.
it's just great because it's close to the Crazy Woman Canyon, which we didn't see because it was not on our way to where we wanted to go. But next time we should see it. But it's just, there's a lot of stuff right there around
Yeah.
Buffalo and the Occidental, right in historic
Yeah.
downtown Buffalo. Super cool.
We got to sing. Well, I sang with
Yeah, I
David
played bass.
Stewart and Brink Brinkman.
So we played with
that was
them.
fun.
It was a lot of fun. People were
Yeah.
dancing and they loved Abby's voice. And we sang
Mm.
Love is a, or you sang Love is a Key.
I
with
sang
them.
Love Is a Key
18 Wheels and a Dozen Roses and Steel Wheels.
and Steel Wheels. Thank you.
Yes.
You remembered.
I do. And then we also did Ring of Fire. Mr. Stewart sang Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
And Brink Brinkman sang a couple of his new songs. Anyway, it was a lot of
It was
fun.
cool.
And we had a nice, restful night. And
Actually, I did not, but that was my fault.
Abby,
I have a terrible tendency when I'm interested in a story, book, or whatever that I will read ahead and try to figure out everything. And I was doing that. This one reason I got sick.
naughty girl.
So I seriously stayed up till like 11 o'clock midnight.
What?
You didn't know this?
No, I didn't.
Anyway, and I woke.
I kept myself on a strict body clock schedule because my body
That is
clock
amazing.
is like,
Naomi's so responsible. Usually,
it's not me really. My body's like, you're going to bed, whether you like it or not.
anyway, so I stayed up reading something, and
No wonder you
Not-
were so bad the next day.
not a
Sorry.
smart idea because we were getting up fairly earlier, like 7, 8.
Yeah, not too. About 7.
Anyway,
7:30.
I woke up and I was achy, obviously, because honestly, my aches did not hit till Sunday.
we were so sore after that hike.
Saturday, I wasn't too sore. It was delayed. Sunday, I woke up sore. I had a headache. And honestly, there were points in the day where I felt a little feverish. Not terribly, just where you just feel achy and just tired. And
Yeah.
so Definitely regretted not getting a good night's sleep, which just kind of escalated into basically what the guys had, what my brothers had, not what daddy had. So they had all started with a headache, and then they would feel slightly feverish.
Yeah.
And then, just so anyway, plus we walked in the rain, so I think that had some effects on me.
Right. And the smoke,
Totally.
the smoke haze was really bad too on your voice.
Totally lost my voice.
Yeah.
Which, if y'all listen to our YouTube, you can tell in Safe and Sound, I'm not back to full capacity.
Exactly.
Which I feel bad about because we put that on YouTube, but I was like, I didn't have a lot of breath support. And so anyway, that was fun. But walking around in the sun
Buffalo.
did help.
Yeah.
Anyway, we walked
fresh
around
air is
Buffalo.
always good. We walked around Buffalo, visited the shops that were open because it was Sunday. And then we we visited Mr. Stewart's like riding cabin.
Yes.
Which was really cool.
Yes.
And then we were headed to Mount Rushmore, and we thought we would stop by Devil's Tower and Crazy Horse on the way. Well, with just how Abby was feeling and us, we wanted to see Mount Rushmore in the daylight.
Well, we were also pretty tired.
Yeah, but we also wanted to see the lighting ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to get there before dinner and then come back after dinner. And so we booked a hotel in Rapid City, which is a really cool place of South Dakota, just saying. And so we decided to skip Devil's Tower, and we were going to skip Crazy Horse, but when Mom saw how close Crazy Horse was to Mount Rushmore, we decided to drive by it
and take a picture.
Pulled over, got a pretty good picture. And then we drove, accidentally, we ordered from the wrong Marcos on the other side of Rapid City. So we had to drive almost all the way through Rapid City, got our Marcos for dinner, and then we drove back to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, we ate Marco's like twice.
Yes, the pizza balls are amazing, or meatloaf bakes. Yeah. You can do them keto.
Anyway, meatloaf bakes are my favorite, I think. So pizza bowls are pretty good. It's just the last two I've had haven't been amazing. But
yeah,
so go with the meatball bakes.
We actually went from Crazy Horse to Marco's, then to Mount Rushmore because it was still daylight. So we ate dinner, got our first pics of Mount Rushmore with the sun still up. It was really cool.
It was really cool.
And this is where we're going to kind of get a little getting 3D.
We haven't been 3Ds this whole episode.
Right. But that was the Friday. So Saturday we were in Buffalo. So that Friday was when the 13 Marines were killed in Afghanistan and the 200 and something civilians. And it was just weighing heavy on me because we're a very patriotic family. And this was the first time that I had seen names, ages, faces. And I'm like, all of these people are my age. There was one guy who was 31, a couple that were 28. The rest were 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. A couple were 20. And I was just like, wow. And so I was in a patriotic mood. Yeah. So Mom teared up. I don't cry, but just seeing Mount Rushmore was.
Someone's like, I don't cry.
Well, I'm getting there.
Oh, you did? I cried at the end too.
That's what I'm about to.
Yeah.
Getting there. Anyway,
sorry.
No.
I don't know what she's talking about now. Took me a minute.
Anyway, so that weight was on my heart, and so we saw Mount Rushmore, got some pictures. What really cool was they have the flags of the United States in alphabetical order. Yes. So it ended up that Texas and Tennessee are by each other.
And
South Dakota. So
we were like,
hey!
Yes!
Anyway.
Perfect.
And then Abby and Mama got us seats because we wanted to see the lighting ceremony on the balcony. We didn't go all the way down into the amphitheater because we wanted a quicker exit. And you and I went to the gift shop, bought a few things. And then we joined Mom, and they did the lighting ceremony. There was a speech and like a movie program and stuff like that. And most of what they said was accurate. I'm not going to get into full detail on the podcast. We'll just say I enjoyed most of it. And then they, at the end of the movie, they're doing the it wasn't the national anthem. It was some kind of patriotic song. It may have been America. Anyway, it wasn't the national anthem, but they lit it up in beat with the music.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And then they called all active and retired military personnel down to the stage to help lower the flag for the evening. And there were several times during the program that I kind of felt choked up, like in my throat, but I didn't like cry.
Cry.
Like cry. Anyway, but when they called down the military personnel, and they were like 4 older guys went and were low, because the flag was at half staff because of the Afghanistan incident. So they were raising it up, and then you lower it. That's how you do it. Anyway, and then another older guy, he must have been an officer, just the command in his voice, he called for attention, and all of those men and women snapped to the salute and held it during the whole program, and I lost it. I cried. And I was like, it's dark, no one's going to see me, I don't care. I was like,
really beautiful.
it was so surreal and beautiful. And
yeah.
It did it justice, but in my heart it wasn't. It was like nothing could be enough for what those 13 my age people sacrificed and what their families are going through. And so it was just a surreal evening, and we talked about it on the way back to the hotel and stuff, and it was just really cool.
Yeah.
And then the hotel, Lord, Mom nailed it with this one. We got a really good deal. This was in the Rapid. You were sick, so you didn't really care. But
No. Where did we stay?
we stayed at the Was it Courtyard by Marriott?
Oh no. I remember that. I wasn't really sick that day.
It was the next day. You were anyway.
No, I felt all right Monday. Tuesday and Thursday were my rough days.
Y'all, this was such a cool hotel. I was like freaking out because, yes, I do like simple things, but cool stuff is cool. So
I was trying to remember.
It had the big bathroom and like the thing that pulled out with it and the couch.
Yeah. That was really pretty.
It was really cool. It was a really cool hotel. We were, the country feeling in the city. A couple of nights is fun.
Cool.
It was cool.
It was really techie and cool.
Yes. So, that was a great night. And then we left about 9. No, it was actually earlier. You're right. It was
8ish.
I think it was
7:30.
Yeah, 8? We woke up pretty early and we're loading out because we were going to drive all the way to Louisville because there was the hurricane and everything. So we wanted to get into Eastern time, sleep really late, and then drive the 3 hours to Knoxville. So it was going to be a long driving day. So we drove from Rapid City. We got to see the Badlands, like I showed Mom. We could just see them from the highway. We'll have to stop on another trip for those because that's really cool. Anyway, so we had a good travel day. I slept. Like I was in shotgun, curled up in my Snuggie, and I slept really hard. Like hard enough where when we would stop, I shouldn't have been getting out to go to the bathroom. But when we stopped, I would wake up and my brain was so foggy. Like that's how deep I was sleeping in the car.
Nice.
It was really nice. So we arrived in Louisville at 5 o'clock in the morning. Poor Mom. So she crashed and we unloaded and stuff like that. So I think I slept 3 hours, but I had already been sleeping in the car. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we spent the night in Louisville and then we came home. Drove the 3 hours home. So it was a really good trip. We learned a lot of things about planning
and doing one thing,
driving schedules, and exactly going to.
So next time, our plan is we're gonna have one main thing. If we wanted to stop like in towns around, like what we did with Buffalo,
like super
and
chill,
Cody, yeah. But one thing, not trying to do 2 major things,
and better on the travel days too.
Definitely give yourself time to travel. And I mean, the only reason I didn't drive is we had never driven Mom's cruiser, and so I mean, and
I wouldn't have been comfortable driving
I would.
it.
I don't know.
Because you'd be so worried about doing something. Anyway. So, great girls trip. Great first twins talk.
Twins talk.
Twin talk.
Hope y'all.
Sorry,
Twins talk. Twin
No.
talk. Hope y'all enjoyed, and let us know if you did. So we might make this a regular thing.
Yeah, like a monthly thing.
Yeah.
Give us a topic and we'll cover it.
Anyway, so if you enjoyed listening, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, please subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. And give us your feedback on it and what you'd like to hear more of.
Yeah.
Talk-wise. And we're just very new to the podcast world, but we're having
it's
a lot
fun.
of fun with it. And we'd love to connect with you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok.
Yep.
All the great places, platforms. The Family Sowell. Just search the Family Sowell and that be it.
Yeah.
We hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay awesome. Because you're awesome. We'll see y'all you'll hear from us next time. And as always, peace, love, fam!
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions or standard of the Family Sowell.
Have a lovely day.